Are you enough? The very essence of you, being you, is that enough? While you are listening to this, it means that the very essence of you, by definition, is enough. Let me explain, for you might be struggling with this thought for years in your head, and this one sentence won't cut it. You need how to's, understandings, and feelings to align with those understandings. Start with a how to. A good start is to act like you are enough. By expressing your humanness through living, you are susceptible to insecurity, confidence, esteem, and worth issues. The force of chaos, unexpectedness, change, adversity, pressure, and so on will do that to you. It is perfectly normal to have these feelings, emotions, and ego trips coming from it. However, not understanding this principle and what to do with it, there is a chance we develop anxieties, avoidance issues, addictions, depression, and more mental disorders from that lack of understanding. And when you are in a position of lacking understanding, the first best thing to do is to act like you are enough. When an oak tree wakens up one morning, it doesn't think, oh dear, I'm not tall enough. I must stretch and strain to grow taller. The tree simply is. As Alan Watts said years ago, it grows naturally, for that is its nature. It expresses its treeness fully, without questioning its uniqueness, worth, or value. It is just there, doing its thing. Unfortunately, though, the tree is not conditioned to question itself as we have been exposed to for years. From the moment we can understand, we were communicated to in a way to obey commands, to follow instructions, and to be corrected when wrong, usually by the word no. Later in life, our environment added that we were not rich enough, not intelligent enough, and not lovable enough, because for that, we are not beautiful enough or successful enough. As if the whole world was in a race to elbow competition out of the way and obtain collectibles like money, power, fame, or spiritual high ground that allowed inclusivity. By that, it focused on inadequacy and perfection, convincing us that we don't have what it takes. And why is that? Well, the person who believes that he or she is not enough is a person who can be controlled, manipulated, and sold to. They are always trying to fill that perceived void, always seeking, always buying, but for the wrong reasons, with the wrong ideas and tools. In other words, they are a great prospect for marketeers, religions, corporations, and politicians. But what if we acted as if we were enough, that we are complete and as good as it gets, that we expect our current position as the accumulation of choices we have made in the past, and that we are equally able to make better choices that lead to circumstances we want to be in? How will a confident mindset change your energy, your perception, and your perspective? You stop doubting the core of what makes you you. You alone and you in the crowd is the same thing. You interact with yourself or others with the same confidence. You are dropping your constant striving, your masks, your misuse of ego, and embracing your authentic self. Your enoughness isn't based on your actions or achievements. It's not something you earn or lose, it's a birthright. Does a wave ever fail to be water even when it crashes against the rocks? Even when it dissipates into foam? It's still water. Its nature doesn't change. Also, Alan Watts. Your nature doesn't change. Your perceived failures, shortcomings, mishaps, and imperfections are part of your human experience. It does not take anything away from your fundamental worth. A diamond with a flaw is worth more than a pebble without imperfections. Your flaws, struggles, discrepancies, and mistakes make you perfectly human. They all contribute to the uniqueness of you. So, what can you do? Start with awareness and acceptance. It is vital. Be curious enough to become aware of the times when the trigger happens when you feel you are not enough or inadequate, when you feel you are lacking, not fitting, or not up to the standard for something. Ask yourself what makes you feel that way. Is it objectively so? Well, if yes, well, great. That is where you are. And it's just that a moment in time, but you are not going to be there forever. You will either grow, stay stagnant, and fall behind, or regress. But you won't stay the same. And if I were you, I would choose growth to deal with the feeling of lacking in situations of not knowing enough or not having enough experience. It's a little tricky at first to just shift gears to feeling that you are enough. For that, we need to become aware of our habitual thought patterns that is constantly going on. You can do this by observing without judging or forming a conclusion and accept the funny play of circumstances of all that is you. Then be radical in accepting yourself right then and there. Not the past you, not the future you, or ideal version of you. Observe the situation as is, without our narrative leading the situation. The simplicity of this statement does not give enough credit to explain how complicated it is at first, how difficult. For instance, after applying for a job, you are invited to go on a job interview. During the interview, you are questioned about your expertise and tested on your knowledge. The interviewer asks you a question you don't have an answer to. You know this might be the crucial moment in your job interview. How do you go about it? And what do you think about when the job interview ends shortly after that? And now your job is to observe the situation as is. Again, without your narrative leading the situation and making it highly subjective. It will be pretty tough not to attach feelings and emotions to it, and you will have no say in the matter of having thoughts formed about it. Your thoughts are influenced by your beliefs, limited or not. If you use to beat yourself up about things outside of your control, your thoughts will have no barriers preventing it from doing it again. So, can you accept yourself right now? Your face, your body, your mind, your self esteem, your confidence, your thoughts, the entirety of your being? Not something after a fix or an improvement, not after an addition of subtraction, but as a perfect expression of life itself. You. When you accept yourself fully, you create the optimal condition for growth. You can become aware of where you are and start looking for where you want to grow and what you need to expand on first. When you are doing something about the lacking, the anxiety, the depression, the disorder in the process of doing, you will train your thoughts to focus on finding solutions and coming up with ideas instead of spitting out shortcomings and words to cut yourself down. In other words, you have to start setting yourself growth goals or expansion goals. It doesn't matter to me how you call it, but pick a word that has the most effect on your subconscious. The next time you face a difficult situation, the difference is that now you come from a place of fullness and not something that is lacking. It is quite the opposite. It means that you too can become successful.